There's a move afoot to divide us. It's being done by Afro-Saxons and coconuts, people who would have us believe that there's a separate gulf between two nations, black and Latino. This is not the poem, y'all.
Yo,
Yo,
finally,
back in
yo,
business.
this shit is so crazy. Anyway, so the last thing you was talking to me about who my early influences was, right?
Right.
So did you hear that?
I got cut off. You told me about, I believe, Tito coming with the fly suit, and by that time,
Basically, that's all you need to know.
okay.
Tito coming out at United States of America with the Fearless Four, and the crowd went wild. And I was just like, yo, that's what I want to do. I want to be that guy. Tito is my idol, straight up.
Right. Earlier on, you were into rock maybe before hip hop, and then that got into that transitioned into you being MC. Can you talk about the early rock days?
Absolutely. So I'm a product of a lot of different settings. So I lived in a black neighborhood, grew up in a Puerto Rican household, but went to a white school. So when I was going to District 26 in Bayside, Queens, all the white boys was listening to rock. So this is 70s. 70s was a fucking incredible period for rock music.
Absolutely.
So I definitely got caught up in that. So then I became a singer in a group called Iron Angel, and then a group called Conquest. And those were my earliest performing days. I was a rock singer in a band way before I did rap music.
Right.
Rap music thing came about because I was a lyricist. I wanted to be a journalist. Like I actually wanted to go to Columbia University and be a journalist for a living. Once the music thing hit, and I realized like, wow, this is still journalism. Like, I can rap and be a journalist. Then I just gravitated towards that. So that basically got me set up, and I did what I had to do.
So how did that lead into b-boying, MCing, going into hip hop from rock?
Well, there's a funny story, B. So one day they had a battle of the bands at my high school, Cardoza High School in Bayside, Queens. Um, so I was gonna be in one of the bands in the battle of the bands was my band, which was Iron Angel. But there was an R&B group right before us, and they started playing Outstanding. Outstanding girl.
Right.
Dude, we were breakdancing to Outstanding. I had my rock outfit on, so right I went on stage and was doing Judas Priest and Iron Maiden covers. I was breakdancing to Outstanding with the other group. So I was definitely just, all over the place. It was
Right.
a beautiful thing though, because I love both genres the same, and I have an affection for both of them the same. And I don't think there's any division when it comes to music if music is good.
Right. I was into Kiss before hip hop, if that tells you anything.
Well, Kiss, listen, a lot of people think Kiss was a novelty group. That's fine. But when you go back and listen to some of their songs, they're fucking excellent, man. Like they have really good songs. There wasn't a lot involved with it. It was very minimal, but Kiss songs hit hard and they rocked, and that's the real reason why Kiss blew up. Kiss, of course, the marketing with the makeup and all that stuff that just took it to another level. But I think they still would have been a prevalent group if they didn't have makeup on because the songs were really good.
Absolutely. Can you tell us the origin behind the name Power Rule?
Well, basically growing up in Queens where I was at, South Jamaica, Queensville, Hollis, whatever you want to call it, um, the God movement was huge, So the 5% movement was huge in my neighborhood. So dudes in the neighborhood just started calling me Power Rule. Instead of saying Puerto Rican, they'd be like, yo, what up, Power Rule? You know, P for power in the alphabet, R for rule in the alphabet. So we're like, yo, Power Rule, what's up? So when it came time to make a name for my group, the first name of the group was going to be Force 2. It was me, Johnny J, and my man, Big House, uh, Pablo Anselmo Cortijo. I never even knew House was Puerto Rican until I saw his pops in the bodega, and he was ordering some food, and I was like, you know Spanish? He's like, yeah, I'm Puerto Rican, and he's so House is Puerto Rican too. He's like, yeah. So yeah, we were Forced to, but then actually my man Pancho, who was down with Dynamic Rockers and everything, he was like, yo, you should call yourself POWERULE. So then it just stuck, and then we went with POWERULE.
Dope. The original lineup of POWERULE featured you, Pablo, and Johnny J. Can you tell us how you guys came together and each role everybody played?
Oh wow! I mean, we was just basically hanging out in the neighborhood and hanging out on the corner of Hempstead and Springfield. I was definitely into the more criminal aspect of life at that time, and Johnny J actually was the one that had introduced writing lyrics to me and everything. And like I told you before, I always wanted to be a journalist. I just got caught up in the street shit. But yeah, so Johnny J put me on, and I became like his, understudy. And House was beatboxing because you needed a beatbox back then. And we tore up Queens, man. I'm telling you, B, like, this is the Run DMC LL days.
Right.
And my neighborhood, Hollis, Queens Village, was a hotbed for rap. You'd be sitting in 34 Park, and Irv Gotti would come in with his radio, and then I remember Irv came with, he had the Rakim album before everybody else. Irv was nasty. He was DJ Irv. He was in the Def Crew. It was DJ Irv, and it was this other dude. Shit, what was the three guys? I think Rozelle was in the group, Irv, and Romeo. I think his name was Romeo, and they were called Def Crew. And so Def Crew was doing their thing. So we were in the shadows of everything going on. I remember going to Queensboro College. I was supposed to be going to class, but I only hung out in the lunchroom. And I'd be sitting at a table with Rozelle and Salt and Pepper, and we'd be freestyling at the fucking table. Like, motherfuckers don't know that. Like, I go way back like that. Like, I really was 3 years deep into being at block parties and doing shit. Mikey D, LL Cool J, Lawrence and Queens block parties and all that. I was there, and nobody gave Puerto Rican niggas no respect. Like, you had to get up there and take it.
Right.
And I took it, and I built a name for myself.
What eventually happened to that original lineup?
Johnny was not a person who wanted to be uh in a public forum. So, and House was beatboxing, so that shit only went so far. So I remember, fucking true story, bro. Crack hit hard. Crack hit the neighborhood real hard. And I used to hustle, but then I used to fucking smoke wools. Like, wools was the fucking cool shit to do. Like, motherfucker be like, yo, you smoked wools? Yo, you fucking crackhead? Yo, when fucking wools came out in the beginning, man, that was the shit to do.
Right.
Like, we get a blunt and fucking sprinkle that shit with some crack on top and smoke that shit, and that was the shit. But I realized one day that my respect was waning because I was doing that. And then I caught myself. And my mother actually sent me to Puerto Rico, and I went there for like 2 months. And that's when I started writing solo shit. So rap actually really saved me.
How'd you end up linking up with DJ Axe and Evil?
Axe, Evil's from my neighborhood. So he was a kid. He used to ride his BMX bike and come through the park and shit like that. And I never knew he wanted to make music, but then he approached me one day and he said he had this woman who was a substitute teacher who wanted to put out records. So we went into the studio, and Axe was a dude that I was staying at my cousin's house on Cross Bay Boulevard over there, like it's like the borderline of South Ozone Park and I forgot whatever. It's like South Ozone Park, and I used to see him, and then he was hustling and he was doing it big, and I gravitated towards him and we talked and he had a little beat machine and then we got together and that's how that whole thing happened. Like Evil had the woman that would put our records out and me and Axe came up with the first song. I remember I forgot the name of that beat machine, man, but that he had a little bullshit beat machine